So one of the obviously the big talking points nowadays is, we're going after criminal illegals who are here illegally, obviously. My concern is the math on that, right? You've got a couple 100,000 criminals on record being here illegally. Once you run out of them, right, there's still 20 million illegals got to get kicked out of the country. You think there's going to be a difficult time messaging that to the American people?
Yeah, we're trying to message it. Look, I see them, 90% of the media lies about what ICE does. We are prioritizing public safety threats, national security threats. But I'd said from day one, if you're in the United States illegally, if you're here illegally, you're on the table because it's not okay to be in this country illegally. It's a crime to enter this country illegally. And we're not going to forget that. But with limited resources, you got to prioritize, right? The public safety threats, the national security threats, they're the biggest danger to the communities right now. So they have to be prioritized. But like I said, I use this analogy that I may prioritize my family life over my work life, but I don't forget about my work life. Prioritization just means what you hold at high, what's a priority. And that's what we're doing. But you see the media is claiming we're arresting a lot of non-criminals, and we are. I mean, if we go in a sanctuary city and we can't arrest a bad guy in the jail and they're going to release him to the community, then we're going to go into the community and find them. And many times when we do find them, they're with others that are in the country illegally. Guess what? They're coming too. Because the last administration told ICE, you can't arrest somebody for simply being here illegal. They rewrote the law. Well, we're letting ICE uphold the old tuck. We're going to enforce the laws enacted by Congress, and they're coming too.
I've been surprised at how that's not the main argument from conservatives. Following the law. If you want the law changed, vote for people who are going to change the law. But currently, the law is the law is, and we're just following. Is there a reason why that's not a more prominent argument?
I'm pushed that every day. I tell people with the attacks on ICE right now, and all the hate on ICE, including from members of Congress, right? We have members of Congress comparing them to Nazis, racists. You got Tim Walz. He called them the Gestapo. And I said, I've been saying, look, if you don't like what ICE does, then go protest Congress, because we're not making this up. We're enforcing laws that Congress enacted. The same congressmen want to call ICE Nazis and racists for enforcing the law they wrote. If we're Nazis for enforcing it, what's that make them? They wrote it, for God's sake. So if you want to protest somebody, protest Congress. We're doing our job. We're enforcing laws around the books. That's the difference between us and Biden. Mm-hmm. We're enforcing the law where he wasn't.
I mean, I always make the argument, okay, if we're going to be picking and choosy of which federal laws we avoid or ignore and don't enforce, might I suggest the IRS tax code as another law that I personally can avoid and ignore?
Name another law enforcement agency where you tell them not to enforce the law. Did anybody tell the FBI, DEA, ATF? No, they enforce the law and we're doing the same thing. Look, immigration enforcement has always been emotional. It's always been controversial. I get it. But you know what? We have a law to enforce. If there's no consequences for entering the country illegally, you're never going to fix the problem. So there's got to be consequences. And we can see now, because we have consequences, got a lot of people self-deporting, self-leaving, because they know we're coming. So that is a part of why we got the most secure border in the history of the nation right now. Yeah, it is. It's a boots on the ground. It's the Trump policies such as remain in Mexico and then catch and release. But a lot of it, they're seeing the consequences. They're seeing 1,000 teams out on the streets every day looking for them. So a lot of people decide, I'll put my affairs in order and I'll leave on my own. That way, I maybe come back under a legal program. Because while all these people, all these protesters show up, how dare you? They're just here illegally. They cheated the system. And while they're cheating the system, there are millions of people standing in line, taking their tests, doing the background investigations, paying their fees to be part of the greatest nation on earth. They're sitting in the back seat while people are cheating the system. So no, we'll prioritize our work, but if you're in the country illegally, that's not okay.